Hello and a very warm welcome. This guide has been put together by the expert tax advisors at Pro Tax Accountant, one of the UK's most trusted accountants firms. We're going to be talking about something that affects millions of us, your tax code. Have you ever had that feeling you might be paying just a bit too much tax? Well, the answer could be hiding in plain sight on your payslip. I want you to just let that sink in for a moment. £2,500. That's not a small amount of money, is it? It's a proper holiday, a new car deposit, a huge relief, and it all came from spotting one simple, surprisingly common mistake. This isn't some crazy tax loophole. This is about someone getting back the money that was rightfully theirs all along. So let me ask you directly, have you ever looked at your payslip, seen that big chunk of tax come out, and had that little voice in your head go, hang on a minute, is that actually right? Well, you're definitely not alone. And that feeling, you might just be onto something. So let's crack your paycheck's secret code. What is this little string of letters and numbers, and why does it hold so much power over your hard-earned money?
Think of your tax code like this. It's a set of instructions, a little message that HMRC sends directly to your employer's payroll department. It basically says, okay, this person can earn this much before you tax them. If that instruction is wrong, well, the whole calculation is wrong. It really is that simple.
Right, for the 2025 to 2026 tax year, the code you're most likely to see, the standard one for most people with just one job, is 1257L. Now, that number isn't just random. The 1257 bit? That tells your employer you have a tax-free personal allowance of £12,570. In other words, you can earn that much before you start paying a single penny of income tax. Okay, you might be thinking, but HMRC sets the code, so how on earth can it be wrong? Well, you'd be amazed how often it happens. And it's usually nobody's fault. It's just life. You start a new job, but you don't have your P45 from your last one, or you take on a second job to make ends meet. Maybe your company starts giving you benefits like private health insurance, or you've just moved from being self-employed into a regular job. Sometimes HMRC's system just hasn't caught up with the changes in your life. It can even be a simple admin error. It's far more common than you think.
So how do you figure out if your code is one of the ones that has gone wrong? Well, it's time for you to play detective. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to find your code and understand what it's really telling you.
The good news is you don't have to look very hard. Your tax code isn't some deep, dark secret. It's printed right there on your payslip, front and center. You'll also spot it on your P60, that end-of-year summary you get. And if HMRC changes your code, they should send you a letter. But honestly, the easiest way to check these days, just use the official HMRC app on your phone or log into your online personal tax account.
And here's a little pro tip for you. And honestly, if you take one thing away, make it this. Get your online personal tax account with HMRC set up. I mean it. It is by far the quickest way to see exactly what's going on with your tax, and more importantly, it's the easiest way to tell them if something's not right. It really puts you in the driver's seat.
Now let's look at what this means in practice. On the left, you've got your standard 1257L. You get your full tax-free allowance, all good. But look at the one on the right, BR. That stands for basic rate. It tells your employer to tax every single penny you earn at 20%, no tax-free allowance at all. Now that might be correct for a second job, but if you see a BR code on your main job's payslip, that is a massive red flag.
And then we have the infamous emergency tax code. This is just a temporary code HMRC uses when they're not quite sure about your details yet. You can spot it a mile off. It'll probably look like 1257L, but it'll have W1, M1, or an X tagged onto the end. Those extra little letters are the dead giveaway, and they almost always mean you're paying more tax than you need to.
Let's make this real. Imagine Sarah. She's been a freelance web developer for years, and she's just landed her first full-time job. Great. But her new employer asks for a P45, and of course, being self-employed, she doesn't have one. So what happens? Payroll has to put her on an emergency tax code. Her first payslip demands, and it is a real shock. This exact scenario catches so many people. Okay, we've covered the basics, but it's not just about L and BR. Let's move on, because there's a whole alphabet of other codes you might come across, each one doing a very specific job. For example, if you see a K at the start of your code, that's used when your untaxed income, like a company car, is actually worth more than your personal allowance. M or N are all about the marriage allowance. 0T means you have no personal allowance at all. And if you see an S or a C, that simply means you live in Scotland or Wales and pay their rates of income tax.
You'll want to hear this part. Let's just spend a second on that marriage allowance because it's a big one that people miss. If you're married or in a civil partnership and one of you isn't using all of your tax-free allowance, you can transfer £1,260 of it to your partner. For the 2025-26 tax year, that could save you up to £252. That's a free meal out every month just for ticking a box.
All right, so you've done your homework, you've checked your pay slip, and you're pretty sure your code is wrong. What now? The brilliant news is you can fix it. Let's make this simple. The process is actually pretty painless. Step 1, get in touch with HMRC. Like we said, your online account is the fastest way. Step 2, give them the correct, up-to-date info about your job or your income. Step 3, HMRC will work their magic and issue a new correct tax code. And step 4, and this is the crucial one, check your very next payslip. Make sure that new code is actually being used. And here is the payoff. Remember this number, 4. You can go back 4 previous tax years, plus the current one, to claim a refund for any tax you've overpaid. So if your code's been wrong for a while, that refund can add up to a really significant sum of money.
So what actually happens? Well, if you've overpaid, HMRC will send you a P800 tax calculation form, and then a lovely refund will follow. Now, what if you've underpaid? Don't panic. If it's less than £3,000, they usually just adjust your tax code for next year to collect it back gradually, so you barely even notice.
Now, for most people with one straightforward job, sorting this out yourself is perfectly doable. But what if your finances are a little bit more, shall we say, complicated? When is it time to call for backup?
Let me ask you this. Are you juggling a couple of different jobs? Maybe you're a landlord with rental income. Or perhaps you've got a side business on the go. If any of that sounds familiar, then things can get complex pretty quickly. And that's when mistakes are much more likely to happen.
This is where getting an expert to take a look can be a really smart move. They can sort everything out, deal with HMRC on your behalf, and just give you that complete peace of mind. It's not just about fixing one code. It's about making sure your whole financial picture is absolutely correct.
Okay, before we finish, it's really important to say this. Everything we've talked about today is for general guidance. Your own situation is completely unique to you. So before making any big financial decisions, you should always chat with a qualified expert.
And if you'd like a hand with any of this, the team at Pro Tax Accountant would be more than happy to help. You can get in touch on WhatsApp or by phone at 07985 689912 or just send an email to info@protaxaccountant.co.uk. And for more simple, clear guides just like this one, make sure you subscribe to the Pro Tax Accountant YouTube channel.
For a complete breakdown of everything we've covered, you can read the full article over on their blog. So, we'll leave you with one final thought. What's the very first thing you're going to do after this? Are you going to go and dig out your last payslip? Maybe log in to that HMRC account? Taking 5 minutes to check your tax code could genuinely be the most profitable thing you do all year. Thanks so much for your